Good morning. Welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony.
I'm Carla Marie.
And we are the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. That's how that works.
Sound like a sketch comedy.
I felt like we were just on like a Disney Channel show.
Disney or like old school, not even old school, just like a
What?
like one of those sketch comedy shows. We basically do improv every morning.
I don't know if we do improv.
Without the moving around your body and making fake things.
Without like the jokes and the live audience and the cues. I guess in that case. Because in improv, aren't you given like cues? What you
Someone said wrong is spelled wrong, and I'm trying to figure out what we're talking about.
On the thing that I did. I wrote Wong instead of wrong.
No, it's not Wong text.
All right, let me fix that.
We do have a live audience, just not...
Yeah, in-person audience, I should say, because this is a very much live audience. You are all alive, as far as I know. Let me save that real quick.
I do miss improv. I just had my 3-year anniversary of my improv showcase, and I still haven't shared a single second of that showcase on social media.
Well, because you did the showcase on a Sunday, and then the world was shut down like 3 days later.
Not even. And it was a weird time to share. Here's my improv showcase, blah, blah, blah. And then it just like, I was going to share it on the 3-year anniversary, but I'm like, I don't even know where this content is. I had to go edit it. Mm-hmm. But I'll tell you what, I was the star of the show.
I think there are a lot of stars of the show. No, you did. You actually did very well.
Thanks.
You're welcome for getting you into improv. Let's get into the list today, shall we?
Oh, so fast?
I do know that
we can't do list until...
Why?
The rule is we don't do the list until we finish hype.
No, we can talk about what the list is. Oh. We're 73% of the way through the hype train. So on today's list, we've got... Let me fix this for 1 second. There we go. I do want to start off with one of the weirdest, very quick conversations that I think I've ever had in my entire life. So that is, excuse me. Then we have oops, wrong text, plain security tones.
Oh boy.
That would be me.
I don't know this.
Garbage phone and salt on the injury. And of course, we'll remind you later before we send you on your way today. But Carnival of Cocktails is going on April 1st. That is the culmination of Seattle Cocktail Week with our friends at Seattle Cocktail Club. It is a carnival of cocktails.
It's fun.
So there's a bunch of different things going on there. There's I think over 100 different alcohol brands and distributors and stuff. So it'll be a really good time. Yeah. We'll have a table there for like 2 hours and we can hang out. If you were there last year, it was a little more wide open. We were just there all day and there were 2 sessions. This year, there's only 1 session.
It's more compact.
Yeah.
And it's just, like you said, it's 1 session. It's in the Fisher Pavilion at Seattle Center, which is such a cool space.
Yeah.
And you're like right under the Space Needle. Gonna be a great time.
So even if you're in the area and you want to be a tourist for the day, you can do that at the Space Needle. So if you use our code CMA when you check out, you get $10 off.
I have a video. I did a little unboxing from Seattle Cocktail Club this weekend. I'm going to share it.
And you just got to go to seattlecocktailweek.com. seattlecocktailweek.com. Bam. And just like that, the hype train is hit. What are we doing today, Carla Marie?
Stone pushed us over the edge. Well,
gracias.
All my leprechauns, get ready. It's St. Patrick's Day week, and we got...
Oh, Slain.
Straight whiskey.
All right, let's do it. Irish whiskey.
When the Seattle Cocktail Club dropped it off, I was like, so I don't remember. Do I don't need to put this in a shaker?
No, you just drink it. You just drink it. Iowa State alum. Thanks for throwing those shots in there.
I did see Melissa say, can we talk about how Rutgers didn't make the tournament? Rob.
I actually do. So this obviously isn't a sports show, but we are proud Rutgers and Seton Hall alums. We have an NFL part-time employee here. so sometimes we talk the sports. Man, what a disappointing Sunday for both of the major programs in New Jersey when it comes to basketball. And here's the thing. 2 other programs from New Jersey made it to the big dance. Princeton and Fairleigh Dickinson.
I know. And you know what?
What a joke.
I'm happy for Fairleigh Dickinson. Princeton, you're just like, Princeton. And I don't want Princeton representing New Jersey. Everyone's going to think we're perfect and smart.
Princeton does have a pretty storied college basketball history.
Are you going to tell us?
No. They've been good for an Ivy League. I feel like our mic is still a little loud, but
there's a chance that Rutgers and Seton Hall play each other in the knit championship.
Yes, if Seton Hall makes it through the 7 layers of the candy can forest and
Okay.
What?
Candy cane.
Candy cane.
You said candy can.
Candy cane forest.
I did say knit, but I said that on purpose.
So, Rutgers probably had the resume to make it as one of the final teams in the NCAA tournament. The problem that Rutgers ran into, a lot of their big wins were earlier in the season. The last 10 games of the season, they did very poorly.
So sad.
And most of that happened after they lost one of their main players. So the committee does have to look at what roster is going into that tournament and if they're a tournament-worthy team. And the committee decided they had too many bad losses. And without, I think Mawat Mag is his name. Mm-hmm. And without him, they just weren't the same team. So they said, no. It was tough. And then Seton Hall, I knew we were going to most likely be in the NIT tournament, the National Invitational Tournament. Oh, so NIT is actually NIT tournament is redundant. They're in the NIT.
It's the knit.
The knit. But out of all the teams, normally with the NIT, they try to, I believe, schedule your games to be in kind of the same area of your college. And Seton Hall is the only team that has to travel 2 time zones, play the last game of the day on Tuesday in the mountains in Colorado. We're basically playing a mountain game at midnight. It's insane. And then if we win our 2 games, we've got to travel back to Rutgers to the East Coast, play them, then travel back to Las Vegas. It's the worst. It is the absolute worst.
Can you hear my violin?
Yeah. Well, whatever. Your team got screwed too. So cheers. Cheers to you, Carly.
Getting screwed together.
Cheers
Woo! To the good old college way. Isn't that what they say?
I don't know what you're saying. Cheers to Seattle Cocktail Club and to everyone who supported the stream today. Woo! What? What am I saying?
Okay, you don't have to open it. Just read it.
It's so funny every time Anthony takes a shot, he says a little woo afterwards. Well, that was a good woo. That was a burning woo because it's Irish whiskey.
It's crazy, though, because all right, it burns, yes. It's actually not bad.
No, not at all.
Like, anytime in college when I took a shot of whiskey, I don't know what it was. I have no idea. This is so much better.
It's like a warm whiskey hug. Because it does. It spreads like warmth through your chest. Not like a heart attack, but like a good warmth, like a good hot chocolate.
Yeah. Erica P said, we need a swallow it emote. I don't know.
I think that will be misused very quickly.
There was, Ricky sent it to us, a Twitch streamer who got suspended for a few days because she was blackout on her stream.
Yeah, that's a little different.
Even like a little tipsy that we've all gotten on the stream before.
But I think in their Twitch guidelines, they don't ban alcohol.
No, they
ban overconsumption
of anything.
Yeah,
like turkey. If you had too much turkey,
I don't know. I don't know if that's the case.
We should have put pescatarian Marie on the list.
Pescatarian Marie.
I haven't had meat since last Wednesday.
How you feeling?
Great. All right. I think this is gonna be my new life.
Glad we didn't put that on the list because that was pretty quick. Let's get into the list though, because you're gonna love this, Carly Marie.
Okay.
So, as you may or may not know, on Wednesday I flew back to New Jersey. And the reason I flew back to New Jersey was one of my uncles had passed. My uncle, who was a priest in Detroit, he got buried in New Jersey because he, as a priest, gets buried in the lot that our archdiocese owns, which is in New Jersey.
So, does he have to be there alone, though? Like, can family members?
Well, it's the same lot. I don't know if it's the same exact, location as the rest of my family members. I don't think it is. But it's not too far away from them.
Okay.
Most of them are buried in Jersey on that side of my family. So, but moving on, I went to New Jersey for the services, and on Friday, after the wake, we decided to go to my dad's friend's restaurant, Cedars, in New Jersey. It's a Lebanese restaurant, and we're all hanging out, having some food. I'm fasting for our Lent, so I had some falafel, I had some hummus. I had a lot of all the Arabic greats, some fattoush, my favorite salad. And as we're getting ready to go, I'm like, I need to go to the bathroom. So I'm walking from the main area that we were at, which is like a covered outdoor area, into the restaurant to go use the restroom. And I see this woman, probably a little younger than me, got a jacket on, and she has a cat carrier on her side. And I'm like, man, it was really loud in there to have a cat, but let me ask her anyway. I said, oh my God, is there a cat in there? And without pause, without hesitation, this is the response I got. No, it's a snake. Hey, is your dad here? And I went, what? And she's like, oh, it's a snake. It turns out she's the belly dancer that was performing inside. And
I was looking like, what is she, a snake charmer?
She had a snake in the cat carrier, and she used to work for my dad. So she recognized me. She was like, you're Anthony, right? And I was like, yes, I used to work for your dad. And I said, oh, well, he's inside. And I was so confused because that whole interaction was so weird.
Did you say, excuse me?
No, that was what went on in my head. That was a very much, because I'm pretty sure.
Well, did she, like, the snake comes out in the restaurant?
Yeah, she does like the thing with the snake.
Is it her pet?
Yeah, I guess.
I have so many.
It's her pet, her coworker, her sugar daddy.
Man, that would be my dream, just to travel around and dance with the cats.
It was something. Oh, yeah, Melissa, exactly. And Melissa said, in my head, that would have been is this real life? And I must have walked into that restaurant and then into the bathroom looking so confused, because that got me for a solid 5 minutes. I was like, what multiverse am I in right now?
The Arabic one.
The Arabic multiverse. It's the weirdest of the multiverse.
Did the belly dancer tell you her cat's name?
Snake's name? No, she did not. Okay. She did not.
Did she talk to your dad?
Yeah, she then went into the other part of the restaurant and spoke to my dad.
And did your dad be like, oh, look at your little snake in there?
I don't know. We were leaving by that point, but
I would have been like,
but it was something. It was very, very much something.
I forget who I was overhearing the other day, and they were like, oh, I'm deathly afraid of snakes. And I'm like, I understand. I'm not like, ooh, give me snakes. I want to pet them. I've had a snake around my neck before.
Give me snakes. Give me snakes.
It's like, I'm not that, but I don't understand having an extreme fear of snakes as if they're just around. Like, spiders make sense.
Well, in some places they are.
Okay.
If you're in Florida and there's a python invasion.
We were not. We were here.
To any of the people in Florida, is it Burmese pythons? Is that what's taken over the state? Continue.
And that is just my thing, that it's like, you have a fear of snakes, but like, why? Like, having a fear of sharks makes more sense. You're more likely to be in the ocean with the shark than you are to be walking around Ballard with the snake. I disagree.
I think if you live anywhere outside of a major city, I think snakes are way more of a threat than sharks. But I wouldn't say I'm scared of snakes. I just don't think, like, I know that they can sneak up on you.
Yeah, I don't like they don't have arms.
I know that they can sneak up on you, but if I know the snake is there, I am not scared. I'm more scared of snakes I don't see. Sneaky snakes.
People too that are
sneaky snakes. Because they can, like, get up on you. They got venom.
Because then you can't get them off.
But I'll be honest with you, I'm not worried about a snake constricting me. I feel like I'm stronger.
Nope, no, you're not.
And more, I can get away from a snake.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can. Absolutely. Because
where can we do a simulation?
If there simulation, Similac. If there was a snake in this room and I was like, oh my God, there's a snake in that corner, you know what I would do? I would get up and I would walk away. I'd be like, oh wow, that snake now can't get me. No,
they do.
But that's the thing. If I know it's there, it's not gonna hit me.
Well, it's like, oh, he knows I'm here. I'm not gonna bite him.
I would just see it and I would walk in the other direction, and it's not gonna get me. I don't think they're that fast.
What?
Yeah,
they are.
No.
Wait, hold on. Lisa said, oh, why does this do this? I can't read it.
Well, make it bigger.
She said, snakes? No, thank you. I don't know what I would have done in that scenario, seeing the snake woman go into the bathroom. She said, but I'm picturing your decrepit face. Stunned, where you went,
yeah.
Did you do that?
I don't even know what my facial expression was. Probably just very confused. Because she didn't even give me enough time to process the snake thing before she asked about my father. That was the weirdest part.
Speaking of rogue snakes, when I was in elementary school, we had Girl Scouts after school, and one of my fellow classmates brought in a garden snake.
Okay.
that she literally found in her yard that day.
Okay.
So it wasn't a pet
Like
snake.
in her backpack or like in a terrarium?
I think she had it in a container. And
Tupperware?
something happened where she let it out, and old school gyms had, or just schools, there was like a pipe, right? But it was like an open pipe. Okay, maybe not a pipe. Okay, you know how our school gyms had like pipes that would get hot from the heat, but they would wrap them with these other things that were like cushioned
insulation,
so that you could play in the gym and not run into a hot pipe.
Okay.
But that cushion stuck out like wider than the pipe.
Oh, okay.
So the snake went whoop and started going up into the pipe, middle of Girl Scouts. So we're all like, ah! 8 years old, running around screaming out. This is like one of those core memories. And I'll never forget our Girl Scout leader kicking the pipe, and then the snake went, psh, dropped down, more screaming. Ah! And then they got it, and they had to tell her mom.
Did you know, Carla Marie, that it's a garter snake, not a garden snake?
Oh, no. I did, but I forgot. But she found it in her garden.
Speaking of animals, I live in Florida, and I was driving on the 75 South, Alligator Alley. I've been on that road. Traffic was stopped, and there was a huge alligator in the middle of the road, only in Florida. That is from Miranda 239.
Garter snake.
Garter snakes. I actually did not know that. I always thought it was a garden snake.
I did learn that at one point, but then I forgot it.
Moving on, though. That is all I needed for, excuse me, was my snake belly dancing experience on Friday night. And this does not surprise me at all. Our friend Kira, she's finding my perfect awkward in the chat, said, I owned a garter snake as a kid.
His name was Louie.
For some reason, it doesn't. Kira strikes me as someone who had weird pets. As someone who also had weird pets.
I only had furry ones.
We are kindred spirits.
I think if you're someone that only has pets with no fur, there's something special about it.
Does a mouse count? I had a pet mouse for a little bit.
It has fur. But
exactly.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Mm-hmm.
What was his name?
So I wanted to get mice, and my parents wouldn't let me. So then in our, I think, 7th grade science fair, I was like, oh, what experiment can I do or pretend to do to make my parents buy me mice? So I pretended to do an experiment. I didn't actually do this. I just got the mice and left them in a cage where I gave them vitamins to see which ones would be healthier, but I didn't.
You tested on animals.
No, you missed the part 3 or 4 times where I said I didn't actually do anything. I just lied about the entire experiment and wrote a research paper on it. That was it.
Typical scientist.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why science is fake. I was wondering that, DJ Synth. Did they name he said article of clothing, but really it's after garter snakes, like when you wear a garter. Well, I guess I just immediately think like
a garter. What is it? Like a garter belt?
Garter belt. No, like when you get married and you wear the stupid thing around your leg that the groom needs to take out and throw around, which is the dumbest tradition of all time.
Yeah, what is that thing called? Is that
garter.
A garter? Okay. So maybe because it's wrapped around your leg,
I thought
it's
about
a snake.
that. I was thinking.
Rain from Washington said, I had a pet tarantula, and I loved that little thing because she was inside a cage, absolutely terrified of bathroom spiders, though.
I saw an article the other day that was like, the cute truth behind spider feet, and I was like, not clicking this, and the photo was literally of a little like spider paw, and I was like,
they're not just pegs?
It was like the most bizarre thing zoomed in that I've ever seen. I said, no, thank you, and I kept going.
I always imagined they were like stilts. Like they didn't have a base. Like they were just a little...
Right?
Like a little, like a peg. Like crutches.
It's like this. What happened to your mice?
Oh, they eventually died.
What do you mean they just died?
What?
Well, because your brother said you didn't say what happened to the mice.
They died.
Like in their cage?
Yeah.
Or did you torture them or something?
No, I didn't torture them at all. They died. I think what he's talking about is they died while we were on vacation. And one of them, I guess, had died earlier and it had like maggots and stuff. It really like messed me up as a kid.
That's like straight out of Goosebumps.
Yeah. That's the only thing I really remember is how traumatizing. No, they did not eat themselves. I don't know what he's talking about.
I guess we're back to Justin making up stories.
Although that's not uncommon for animals like mice to sometimes fight and eat each other. No, I will ask my mom later, Justin. I'm not going to have this conversation right now. But I don't know. And I think in some instances with some animals, you do have to watch because the male, if there's babies there, what? Mama Tones is in here.
Justin is right.
That never happened. That never happened. I think they're making this up. The maggots thing is the thing that I remember. My mom and my brother are in here now.
This is great.
This is interesting.
So,
Martha said I had rabbits that ate each other, but sometimes in certain animal situations, like the father of whatever that litter is will attack and kill or eat the babies.
Moms too with cats. It's a thing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like cats do it?
When I forget what the reasoning. There's only a certain time, but like if a mom gives birth to kittens, sometimes she just eats them.
I also want to point out, because my mom wrote this with no context in the chat, and because she has my name in her profile name, I've got to say this. She wrote, "The black ones hurt the white ones," and I want to point out that we are talking about mice. Mom, a little context would have been great there.
Pin it, put it on the screen.
I'm absolutely not doing that. Moving on from mice, though. Moving on from mice. Carla Marie has oops, wrong text.
Oh, do you have the photo I sent?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Do you want me to put it on now?
In a second. Okay. So my niece, Gabriella Marie, you're probably familiar with her at this point. She's one of the twins. She's 26 years old, engaged to be married next March. She went to a friend's bachelorette party this weekend in Nashville. Ricky actually helped her out with like some locations and stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, it was awesome. So the best part about Gabriella is like she's very like straight-laced for the most part, right? Like she's my most chill family member.
Yes.
But when she
it's
gets
a low bar to set, though.
It is. But when she gets drunk, it is my favorite thing. Because she's like just finally like relaxed, loose, whatever. So I could tell early on in texting her in the day that she was feeling it.
Yeah.
Then they
She was feeling Nashville nice?
She was feeling Nashville nice. Then they went to like a cowboy line dancing. I say strip club, but they were more like dancers.
Mm-hmm.
And she sends me a screenshot of a text conversation with her fiance. And this is what it was. She texted him, "I love strippers." And he said, "Oh my God." And she said, "LMFAO, I didn't mean it. That text was supposed to go to Aunt Ashley." And I was like, Nashville got her.
Texting your fiance, "I love strippers," is always an interesting move, to say the least.
And it's great because, like, if you know Gabriella, she is, like, the perfect little angel of the family. Mm-hmm. She's, like, can do no wrong. Everyone, like, I tell everyone, if you ask anyone in the family, who's your favorite family member, they're going to say her because it's the least amount of drama. You know you can confide in her. She's not out of control. She's very logical. It's Gabriella. So the fact that this happened this weekend, I was dying.
I want to shout out Ricky because Angela. A lot of people have mentioned Ricky because obviously our friend Ricky lives in Nashville. Yeah. Angela in Spokane said Ricky is the best thing, or is the best with helping people around Nashville. I loved meeting up with her when I was there. And if you are ever in Nashville, you can always hit her up. What, Carla Marie?
DJ Sins pointed out in the background, in the photo that she also sent him, you can see a bachelorette straw.
What is a bachelorette? I need to look at this.
You know what it is.
A dick straw. Good old penis straws.
Yep. She also wore like a jumpsuit, and she was texting me telling me that her underwear got stuck in the zipper. So some stranger in the women's room helped her they had to rip off her underwear.
Oh, so she had to go back out with no underwear.
Basically.
Yep. Hey, it happens.
I said, I hope they weren't Skims. Those things are expensive.
Now, the ween straw brings up a good point, Carla Marie. We have talked at length about how straws have been like banned and outlawed and villainized and whatnot.
Oh.
Is there a compostable penis straw out there somewhere?
That's a great idea. If not, I've been looking for something to invent lately.
Plant penis straws? Penis plant straws? I love a good alliteration, so. I feel like the women's bathroom is a place where
there should be a reality show.
There's a lot of help that happens there. There's probably a lot of like therapy sessions that go on in women bathrooms.
Well, I googled compostable penis straws and this Etsy came up. Green penis straws. I don't know if it's gonna be the color green. I don't think I'm logged into Etsy. Let's see.
Are you sure it's Etsy?
No, it is because
Okay, it's not
Etsy is
Pornhub?
Etsy is loaded with bachelorette.
Carrie0306 said most are reusable, at least in regards to the penis
Yeah,
straws.
but I'll tell you what, most nights you're not taking that penis straw.
DJ Synth, this is fantastic. Plant-based meat straw.
Oh,
It's a good name. It's a very good name. Are you logging in now?
To Etsy. It's because I got a new phone.
All right, well, let's go back to the main screen. So she sent that to her fiance.
Yep.
Instead of sending it to
my sister.
Your sister. But does that make you mad, Carla Marie, that your sister is the cool aunt?
No.
That's not. If the person you text about strippers is the cool aunt. I'm sorry to break it to you.
Well, I think she was texting that to Aunt Ashley because Aunt Ashley was the one that had strippers at her bachelorette party. I have not.
I think you're trying to avoid the fact that you have maybe aged yourself out with that sweater as the cool aunt.
What? This is such a cool sweater.
For a grandpa. That is a grandpa
it's
sweater.
Mr. Rogers.
Were you wearing this the other day? Have I seen this?
Yeah, I wore it in my video on Instagram.
Okay.
All right. No, these are not compostable. They're literally just green.
So if you have a St. Patrick's Day
Literally,
bachelorette party.
There's a St. Patrick's Day one.
There you go.
Martha, we got to talk to the guys at Pasta Straws to see if they can do pasta penis straws.
We should. Fred the Mailman said the compostable ween straws are shaped like Captain Planet's peen.
Oh, I would like a Captain Planet stripper.
Was Captain Planet blue or green? He was blue, right?
I think he had green hair.
Was he blue with green hair?
He was like gray.
I know he's our hero, and he's going to take pollution down to zero. Captain Planet. Captain Planet is our hero.
Should we ask?
What did he look like?
Oh, he was blue. No. What?
Yeah, he's blue with green hair.
Green hair.
There we go. I'll put him up on the screen, I guess, since
I can just totally see my sister being like, "We're getting her Captain Planet stripper."
For you? Let me get this up on the screen. You got to give me like 3 seconds.
No, they'll have like a park ranger be like,
go.
"Excuse me," knocking on the door, and it's park ranger stripper. I would love it.
Excuse me, I think we're looking for our snake. He's on the loose.
No, park rangers don't talk like that. Be real.
What do they talk like? What would a stripper park ranger?
I don't know, but I remember the one we talked to. He told us about the Stellar's Jay, that really cool bird at Yosemite.
He was like 100.
No, he was not. Not that guy.
Yeah, he was.
The younger one.
So what is the age of the? Let me ask you this: How old is and what would the national park themed stripper be?
What do you mean? How old?
How old is he, and what would he sound like? What are the things that he says? 20. You're gonna find a 28-year-old national park themed stripper.
Our friend Matt works at the national park.
He's not a ranger.
No, but I did.
He's a researcher.
Hold on. On my birthday weekend, we had a lot of tequila shots, and I told him I was going to invent this, and I needed him to be a part of it. I wanted to create, like how firefighters do this, national park calendars of rangers posing in semi-sexual ways.
Okay.
With their hats.
I mean, it could work.
And he was
especially out in nature, because the firefighters do it like usually in their station, right? Isn't it like, oh, he's holding a big hose and he's like
a puppy? I don't know why, but they do that.
Firefighters and puppies, I've seen that as well.
But the national parks Twitter account and Instagram account, they're funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are all in, Forest Service, all of them. But I don't know about posing sexually as a government entity. I don't know what happened.
That's true. They are government employees. Although I guess depending on your town,
firefighters are not government employees.
They're paid
civil.
They're paid by the municipality that you live in.
Yeah, but they're not government employees.
Or they're volunteers, and in that case,
they can do whatever they want.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, so what would a national park stripper say?
He comes in, he knocks on the door.
Well, if you're at Yellowstone, they could be like, "Have you seen my geyser explode today?" Is your mom still in?
Probably, yeah. So they walk in, right? They knock on the door and they're like, "Excuse me, ladies. What does the person look like? How old are they?" Because I'm not convinced they're 28.
They got abs.
Okay.
8-pack.
From a lot of climbing. Okay.
All that rock climbing at Yellowstone. There's nowhere to climb.
Probably is somewhere.
At Yosemite.
And they're asking you about their geyser.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's the thing, I guess. Mm-hmm. Moving on, though. From oops wrong text to plain security tones.
Oh, what happened?
So,
I was very nervous about you flying this weekend.
I was on 3 flights. I flew from here to New Jersey to LA on Saturday, and then Sunday from LA back to Seattle. And I was in Los Angeles because I had originally planned to go there this same weekend for the AFI concert.
Yes.
AFI was doing a one-night only show. It was the 20th anniversary of one of their albums, Sing the Sorrows. They did the entire album straight through. I'll talk about that later. But I was on a lot of flights in a very short period of time. And yesterday, on the flight back from Seattle, to Seattle, I got up to go to the bathroom halfway through the flight. And I notice, as I'm walking, because I'm at row 17, there's about 40 rows on the plane, so I'm walking this whole way, and this one guy is still holding, like, from the time I got up to the time I got there, he's standing in the bathroom door, holding the door open, and facing where, like, is it the gallery or the galley?
Galley.
Galley?
There's no art hanging up.
Okay. Whatever. So, and he's facing that direction. As I get closer, I'm starting to hear an argument going on. And it's an older guy. And I get there, and he's just like, well, I wanted to figure out what was going on first. So, I don't know. He was first complaining. He's like, this is unacceptable. It's embarrassing. This is why I always fly Southwest.
Oh,
because I was in Alaska.
Okay.
Listen, Southwest, they have some customers that love them.
Was there no toilet paper? Because that does happen.
I'm trying to figure out, is this an issue with the bathroom, and he's so mad that he's now yelling at the staff? And I can't get into the bathroom because he's holding one door open and the one across from him he's blocking. So I just have to sit here and listen, and I start realizing he's yelling at the staff because they are no longer serving him alcohol.
Okay, well,
they have said
you know what that's like.
He's been overserved, and now he's yelling at them.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
What's your name? I'm going to report you.
Okay.
Blah blah blah. And the staff that's behind, I don't think there was a guy on the staff. I think it was actually all women as flight attendants. So he's yapping and yapping and yapping.
Were you like ready to throw down?
So,
because I'm telling you, if I ever witnessed that, I'd be like, that heightened like fight or flight.
So the bathroom there's 3 bathrooms. So the one that I could have gone into becomes clear. I'm like, I could go in, or I can just stand here.
You could be a national hero
in case something goes down. So I stood there for a solid 5 minutes because the guy, I'm not joking. He did not stop, and he kept repeating himself.
Were the flight attendants looking at you?
No, because the door was open. He had the door open, and it was kind of blocked. I think one of the flight attendants saw me.
Kick the door and let him. Oh, like a movie.
So, and I got to give the flight attendant a lot of credit. She kept her calm the entire time, and he would say things like, "This is why I always fly Southwest. I'm never gonna fly Alaska again." She goes, "That
I would
is,"
have been like, "Sir,
and she
this
said,
is the door to
"Hold on."
Southwest."
She said, "That is very unfortunate, but I want you to know that actually does not affect me. I don't get paid because you book a flight." She goes, "I don't see any of that money." And but she was very polite. Like, there were a couple times where she definitely tried to like slide in a dig, but she was very good the whole time. "What's your name?" She said, "My name is Ashley, spelt the traditional way. You can go on to alaskaair.com and you can file a report. You're more than welcome to do that. I just can't serve you anymore. None of us can serve you." Blah, blah, blah. She starts explaining the reasons. She thinks he's been overserved. She's like, "You're slurring your speech." Blah, blah, blah.
Sir, here's
and
the
she
door.
even said, "Your persistence to get more alcohol leads us to believe you've been overserved." And he eventually, finally, goes into the bathroom. Like, I'm not exaggerating. It's been over 5 minutes at this point. So I just peeked my head in there, and there's like people around us are noticing what's going on. And everyone's giving each other looks like, "Ugh, this guy," you know? So he goes into the bathroom, and I just peeked my head into the galley. The galley. And I was like, "Hey, do you want me to just hang around here until this guy walks back? Or like, are you guys all good?" And she goes, "That's very kind of you. I think we're okay." And then I went to the bathroom, and I heard, "That was so cute."
Aw, look at you with the flight attendant.
But I also, part of me didn't want to say anything.
Did you get some points?
Points? Oh, like mileage? No, I didn't get any
They
extra
should have been like,
miles.
"Sir, here's 100,000 points."
No, but I also, and I was worried before I said that. I was like, I don't want to come off as like Like, oh, you little ladies can't protect yourselves. But they were all smaller than the guy.
Yeah.
And I feel like he probably wouldn't have had the attitude if he was talking to me.
I mean, if I was waiting in line and there was a bunch of dudes who were flight attendants and then a woman causing that problem, I probably would have been like, hey, do you need my help?
Yeah.
But it's different.
It is different. But I didn't want to be like the male chauvinist, like a-hole.
Well, like Eats and Tweets said, flight attendants so appreciate folks who have good situational awareness. And Eats and Tweets knows that because she does or used to work for Alaska Airlines.
Is it bad that part of me wanted him to like make a move?
No.
So I could have jumped in?
Yeah.
Like, pop.
Because when
he was significantly older than me, so I would have felt a little bad afterwards. But sometimes you just get what you get, you know?
Last week, so that United passenger went berserk on the airplane, tried opening the door. So I said to you, I'm like, dude, be careful flying. Like, people are really losing their minds lately. And I wonder, because there were a bunch of men on that flight, specifically men, because the person who was, like, quoted said, like, all these men got up and tackled him, and then they zip-tied him. Like, did those guys get... Like, you get to fly United for a whole year free?
I don't know.
Because you just saved a lot.
I have heard, and the most recent time I've heard this was...
Because I always want to save somebody.
It was a podcast that Chris DiStefano was on, maybe. I can't remember the podcast. I'm blanking on it. But it was basically two comedians who obviously fly a lot. And they were both talking about how they've had instances where flight attendants have asked them, hey, if something goes down here, like, you're going to help us out, right?
You become the marshal.
And I guess if you are, I feel like as a guy, if you're over a certain height, people expect you to jump in.
Especially in such a tight place. Like,
true.
I see these things and I was thinking, because when I watched the video of the United guy losing his mind, he's like, I'm gonna, whatever he says, something, and starts like storming towards the cockpit. I was like, what would I have done in that situation? Like, I would have just been like, leg out. And take him down. And just like push him. Like, I think I could do it. Like, leg push.
If he's not paying attention, you could definitely trip him.
Because he was walking backwards.
Yeah, but then you're gonna be
come up behind him and been like, God.
But then he will aim his anger at you, and that might not be a good thing.
Yeah, he did have a spoon.
A fork, I thought.
No, it was a spoon that he broke in half.
To make a shank?
I think it was a plastic spoon.
This guy had to spend time in prison. I feel like he did a good job, like, making the best of his surroundings. Okay.
So that happens last week, and then on Saturday I watched all 3 episodes of The Plane That Disappeared, which is about MH370, the Malaysia Airlines flight that disappeared in 2014.
Oh yeah.
It was very interesting to watch, but warning when watching it is insanely sensationalized. And keep in mind, we have really no more information than we had 2 weeks after the flight disappeared than we do 10 years later. And the whole thing is just conspiracy theory and it's literally theory 1, theory 2. So I'm watching this and now, like, you're flying all over back and forth. And I'm like, what if his plane disappears?
You know, I was actually thinking this.
It's on Netflix.
I was actually thinking about this on the plane. You know, a lot of research has come out. Even before the pandemic, but obviously since the pandemic, about this, like, national case of anxiety. Everyone's a little more anxious. Everyone's a little more nervous. People are, like, more depressed. And part of me has to believe that, yeah, things are crazy. We've lived through a pandemic and 2 economic collapses and the biggest terrorist attack on U.S. soil. Yeah. Like, we've lived through a lot of things. But part of me also has to believe the fact that people are cuddling up with documentaries about serial killers and national tragedies and downed flights and all that. That's got to contribute to it somehow.
What is the other one I was watching? My lover,
You're right there? Like, we're watching documentary series about how your roommate's going to kill you.
Yeah, and Anthony will come into my room and be like, why are you watching this? Because I have to know. I have to know. You learn things because you're like, oh, this is a sign that this person's going to murder me.
Yeah, I don't know if it's healthy. And yes, I watch a lot of dramas that have, like, murder and crazy things in them. But these are clearly scripted things that I'm watching.
But they're scripted from the truth.
What?
Things like that happen.
Things like everything happen.
Exactly.
I just don't know if... And that's the other thing. Bad things happen everywhere all the time.
I also watch The Office around the clock, so I balance it.
I think bad things happen everywhere all the time, forever. We just now know about all of them simultaneously. Every time a natural disaster takes a life, we know about it. Every time a crazy person does something, we know about it. And then we go from the news cycle to watching documentaries about the craziest people in the world.
I love it.
The worst people ever.
I got to know about them.
And it's like, oh, the next person that serves you at McDonald's is going to stab you in the throat.
No,
Be careful.
I love to know about the inside the mind of a psycho.
Do you, though?
Yeah.
And why?
Because I want to be prepared in case I meet anyone with those red flags. And what to do in that situation. Because you might have some of them.
I have all of them, probably. I guarantee you, if you're like, oh, this serial killer, these were his main traits, they'd probably match up with some of mine, and they'd match up with some of yours. Because serial killers are everywhere, according to Netflix, at least.
Yeah.
Everyone you meet on Netflix is a serial killer.
Everyone knew you? Would you just
Everyone you meet on Netflix is a serial killer.
You said everyone knew me. Renee said the Murdoch murder documentaries were done a little premature. I do agree, but I did just binge them last weekend. Jen said the story intriguing me right now. I've been lightly following this one. Is the girl who came forward claiming she's Madeleine McCann? Do you remember Madeleine McCann? She went missing when she was like 2 or 3 years old.
No.
There's a girl is she in France? That's saying I'm Madeleine McCann, and the parents actually did a DNA test. Madeleine McCann's parents.
And
I don't know what the outcome is. The authorities are saying no, it's not her. But
is this like when the Anastasia's, like the Russian Tsar Anastasia or Russian Princess Anastasia was like, "Oh, I'm Anastasia," and then they're like, "No, you're not. You're a liar."
Oh, she's currently in California now.
Oh.
Oh wait, no, but so either way, people are like, if she's not Madeleine McCann, this girl does have a case as being a missing. Like, she could be someone else, still not who her parents are saying she is. Because there's no photos of her before the age of 4. All these things.
But where has she lived this whole time?
With her family. But recently, she's 21, I think, whatever it is. She was asking her parents, questions. And she's like, it was getting a little weird. And there's no photos of me as a baby.
You know, here's a crazy thing to think about. If you want to have some crazy anxiety and feel even more insignificant in this life, imagine, Carla Marie. Someone knocked on the door this afternoon and said, "Hey, Ashley," or that's a bad example because your sister's name is Ashley. "Hey, Stephanie, we just got proof that you were kidnapped."
I'm the face in the milk carton.
"At a year old from the ShopRite in Nutley, New Jersey. And you've been raised as Carla Marie your whole life, and we want to reunite you with your parents." Your whole life could be a sham.
I know. But I look
so how do you prove it?
I look so much like my sister.
Just saying.
And my mom.
Just saying. There's a possibility.
Lisa, great point, is a twin. She said, conspiracy. I always wonder if Jen and I were switched at birth.
It's very possible.
That's true. Like Gabriella and Alyssa, my nieces. One comes out, you name each of them, and then what happens? I mean, babies getting switched in the hospital was very, very much a thing.
Okay. It happened.
In the 30s.
I don't know if it was very much a thing. I don't know if 50% of babies were switched. 30%.
I bet.
Do some research.
Well, in The Office, Dwight talks about how you need to mark something on the foot of the baby when it's born so you know if it's yours.
Makes sense. Helgeen said, I worked at the Nutley ShopRite in 2004.
I was 16, though.
What were the odds that I picked that ShopRite? ShopRite's still a company, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we don't have them out here.
We don't.
Okay.
You feel like we don't because we do not have ShopRites.
It was a feeling I had. It was a hunch.
We've got
it's my superpower.
Safeway, Kroger, which is and Fred Meyer.
Moving on, though, from plain security tones. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, my God, what a nice guy.
Uh-oh.
What?
It died. I watched it flash, and then I watched the GoPro say battery dying. It's probably unplugged because I had No, I didn't unplug anything.
You sure?
Mm-hmm.
You seem less sure.
No, because I plugged my computer into an outlet that was... Is anything unplugged? It would be hanging there. We're here. It's a podcast now.
Yeah, you can still hear.
Can you unplug and plug it?
Well, here's the thing. By the time I get this thing going, it'll be past 9 o'clock.
No.
I think this is where we can say goodbye. And then we'll have it fixed tomorrow. I do think this was just a power issue, not a full camera collapse like we've had before.
I saw it flash, our video glitched, and that's when I said, uh-oh.
Listen, we do have a couple more things to get to. We have garbage phone, salt on the injury. We'll talk about all of that tomorrow.
And how almost set the whole house on fire.
That seems like something you should have told me previously. But
well, I did, but you didn't put it in there.
All right. We'll talk about all of that tomorrow. Thank you very much for hanging out with us. Thank you to everyone who supported the stream. And don't forget, we would love to see you at Seattle Cocktail Week's final event, the Carnival of Cocktails. We'll be there.
Yes.
We'll be there mainly the whole time, but we will let you know the time we'll be hanging out, and we would love to see you there. So please get those tickets. $10 off if you use our code CMA. We will see you tomorrow.
Peace out.